So we've done it once before on the road. You might remember we did it in Fiji with someone called Emily Andrews, who's sat over there. We're rather hoping she'll remain quiet throughout the entire process. We doubt it. Welcome to Morocco. This is the 14th floor of the Media Hotel where we've been based for the entirety of the 3-day visit. Take a look outside. This is the view we've got from up here. This is Rabat, the capital of Morocco, where things are wrapping up today, and I'm delighted to say that on the team around this, what do we call it, a makeshift studio?
Yeah,
I think we'll call it a makeshift
so.
studio. In our makeshift studio, we have a room with a view. We have Omid Scobie. Omid, I never know quite to introduce you. ABC News, Harper's Bazaar. You have this thing called On Air.
Yes,
sort of podcast.
The original Royal podcast.
Right, yes. And your partner in that is
Emily Andrews,
right? Okay,
who you know very well.
Yes.
I'll take jack of all trades.
Right.
I
Okay.
guess. Master of
but
none.
royal commentator, follower, expert man who actually broke the story of Meghan being in New York, and we'll talk about that at some point. But we should start off in Morocco. Lizzie's here as well. Hi, Lizzie.
Hello.
It's been a busy few days, hasn't it?
It has been a busy few days.
So we all got here, Friday, wasn't it? And it's now Monday, I think. Yeah. Harry and Meghan wrap things up tonight with a visit to see the King. But what have you made of it so far?
Well, I think what was interesting about this trip is that so many people were asking us, why are they going to Morocco? What is this trip all about? Yeah. And to be honest, even coming here, I wasn't sure myself. And I think only having sort of finished the itinerary with Harry and Meghan, it kind of makes sense. This is Meghan very much winding down before the birth of baby Sussex. Yeah. And I feel like we've almost had a reminder of all the things that she's great at, all the things that she's interested in.
It's been like Meghan's tour, in a way.
Really
no disrespect to Harry, because he was also here, but it's been like Meghan's tour.
Well, we know Harry well, so, but I think with Meghan, she's still proving herself. She's still sort of telling the world what she's all about. And, I think it worked well.
Yeah, this tour's had a real focus on girls and education, higher education. We know that's really important for Meghan, and also female empowerment, which is another issue. So I think you're right that this has been Meghan's sort of tour.
And not to mention today some cooking. So again, when I was in that cooking place this morning, it felt a little bit like going back to the UK, where we had the whole Together cookbook with the community based around Grenfell Tower. It was her sort of thing, and it was also an event at which Harry took a sort of step back, didn't he?
Exactly.
So throughout that process,
yeah, she's very comfortable in the kitchen, likes trying all the different dishes that they serve to her.
And we had the recipe from the cookbook, so it's sort of a full circle moment. And again, it goes back to the reminder of this is one of her achievements.
Yes. So in other words, what you're saying is, because Meghan's about to go off on maternity leave, let's choose April as the due date. We know Meghan said late April, early May, but let's say April is when she's expecting to give birth, and therefore whatever maternity leave she takes, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, she's not going to be around very much, and therefore this was like almost going out with a big bang for 9 months.
Yeah, exactly. Flexing every philanthropic muscle that she has.
And I think some people were surprised even that this visit happened, because she's around 8 months pregnant. I think we thought she'd be slowing down by now. So for them to then say she's going on a 3-day visit to Morocco was quite a surprise.
And with New York, and we will talk about New York in a moment, but actually, we calculated, we said on air the other day, didn't we, on one of our bulletins, she's now done 3 continents in less than a week. America, Europe and Africa, which is, there's no criticism here, but it's quite unusual for someone who's nearly 8 months pregnant to do that much travelling.
I was up at the crack of dawn this morning. I'm tired. It's only been a short tour, but you pack a lot in. There's a lot of moving around, and she was also up in the Atlas Mountains yesterday, and she would have had to have flown there. So again, another sort of air travel for her. It's
helicopter. We think we all went by a military transport plane and then a coach.
Not quite so fancy.
It was quite interesting trying to work on that yesterday. We had our headphones on, trying to listen to what everyone was saying. We gave up halfway through. Actually, Ted, who's our cameraman here, who's doing all the fancy stuff behind the camera. We were literally trying to listen to what people were telling. We gave up because it's noisy going on that military aircraft, wasn't it?
Yeah, you get used to them after a while, though. I think it's sort of become part of royal tours now. At some point, you will be shoved into the back of a Hercules and taken somewhere mysterious.
And you sit on these sort of netted seats rather than the kind of traditional seating of an aeroplane.
There's a picture on my Twitter feed, which just Rhiannon from Sky took for me, which is me trying to do some work on the Hercules, which was quite difficult. But the Atlas Mountains, I thought was fascinating. Again, very much a Meghan event. It was about girls getting an education because of how rural it is there, that they simply can't get to school. What happens if they don't go to school? They get married at 14 or 15, and that's them having a life of being a wife or a cook or based in the home. the education part of it, it just sang Meghan all day, didn't it?
Well, totally. I mean, we obviously see her as the patron of the ACU, and we heard her talk about education and equal opportunities within education during her talk in Fiji. And so this kind of continued on from that. What I thought was really interesting in the engagement was just how much she took the lead. I think Harry almost gave her sort of centre stage, this is your thing, this is what you're great at, and she really connected with the girls. Harry was sort of second place in the back.
And that was really clear. We went into a classroom with Harry and Meghan, and there were sort of 3 groups of tables of girls doing their homework, and the couple split, and all the media just went with Meghan. I mean, Harry might as well not have been in the room. She was the front and centre.
I completely agree with that. I actually filmed it because I thought, because I was observing it, I haven't actually done anything with it, it's still in my phone, but actually it goes from Harry round a table, 0 cameras, and then I pan across to Meghan's table, and there were about 8 cameras all focusing on her. It did make me think, and this analogy has been made before, it was a bit like when Charles married Diana. Everyone wanted a piece of Diana and not of Charles, and William's experienced it as well. When everyone in Canada wanted, on their first tour, wanted a bit of Kate's attention, not William's attention.
Well, I think also, for any sort of new sort of entry into the royal family, there's a million things we want to know, and we want to know all of that fast. So the interest is always going to be on whoever is kind of the latest addition. I think with Meghan, yes, she was famous, but very few people sort of internationally really were aware of who Meghan Markle was. So we're still getting to know her. With Harry, certainly for us as well, we've been all around the world with him. We know him very well. We spent a lot of private time with him at receptions on various tours as well. Meghan, there's still that sort of elusiveness, and so it's not just the public that are interested, it's also us as well. It's why we choose to go into the room with Meghan rather than with Harry.
Yeah, we're interested. We want to hear what she thinks or what she says. Everyone yesterday was actually interested in whether or not she could speak French. Clearly she's lived in Canada where English and French is spoken all the time. We know Harry's not quite so good at it. And actually there was a little bit of French, not a lot, but because that's the language through which you can communicate internationally here, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think Meghan, she has this sort of knack of, I guess, bringing out a surprise talent within an engagement, and so it didn't surprise me that she could speak French on that. I almost sort of came to expect it from her, that maybe even if she couldn't speak French, she probably would have brushed up a little bit before.
Yeah, she's very good at doing her homework, isn't she? And
yeah, exactly. And I remember seeing one point when the British ambassador here went to offer her a chair. I think he lifted one up and carried it over to her because she was crouching down on the floor. She said, "No thanks, I'm absolutely fine." She's got that sort of independence about her that runs through her the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, I can look after myself, I don't need you to give me a chair, I'm all right, crouching on the floor, thank you very much.
Exactly. And again, that's sort of what we see with her work, is that she comes in very prepared, very confident, and I guess quickly wins people over. We saw on all of her patronage engagements how impressed everyone was, how she'd come in and she knew everything. She already knew everyone. I remember on one particular engagement at the National Theatre, sort of how many members of staff who were, not senior executives or anything, that she just sort of quite acknowledged on that engagement because she remembered them from the last time. And it's little things like that that do win people over.
And this charity that we went up to in the Atlas Mountains was called Education for All, and it's doing some amazing work, isn't it? That was like the 6th, or they're currently building their 6th dormitory for these girls who would otherwise not be able to go to school and not get an education.
Yeah, these girls live high up in the Atlas Mountains and they just wouldn't be able to get to school otherwise, and so it's helping 12 to 18-year-olds give them somewhere where they can stay and therefore access schools. So it's a brilliant charity, I thought.
It sounds like there's some sort of chaotic sort of traffic situation going on down there. I found Morocco to be pretty safe. I think there was some reportage before we came out here that it was going to be quite dangerous because there were some protests in Rabat, the capital city. Therefore, this is where, if you're going to protest against anything to do with the government, you'll do it here.
Yeah.
But I haven't felt particularly unsafe at any point.
No, I felt very safe walking around at any time of the day. Yeah. I will say, though, although there was some drama to a headline like that, which suggested that Rabat was sort of riot-torn.
What was the word?
I think riot-torn
Danger
Rabat.
zone.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so, yes, it sounds dramatic, but that is stuff that security would take into account before a trip like this.
Yeah.
It was just a matter of days ago, and so yes, it was something that was likely to blow over, but security is security, and they look at every single aspect.
And there hasn't actually on this itinerary been a walkabout, which is quite rare for when they go and visit somewhere new. So perhaps they did take that into consideration.
I think there was some validity in that element of reporting, that there was no public walkabout. But then I don't think the royal family here do walkabouts. And this meeting with the king that's happening this evening, it's been on, it's been off, it's been on again, because actually there's a lot more secrecy surrounding the royal family here than. Famously, we've all read it, haven't we? Famously, the Queen in 1980, when she came here to meet King Hassan II, she was left waiting in the car, or he didn't turn up for the state dinner, the banquet, and I think dealing with the Moroccan royal family has been, how should we put this, a bit of a headache for Kensington Palace.
Well, it's just a different establishment, very mysterious. I think even I've found, even speaking to members of the press here, they're quite cagey about what they say about members of the royal family here. And you look at the sort of mainstream press here, the coverage is only ever positive, and it's really only the sort of French-speaking press outside of Morocco that dares to speak objectively or negatively about the monarchy here. So it's quite different to back home. We have freedom to really report on it in any way we want.
Yes, and talking, and we'll get to that point, because there's a lot of debate going on, particularly in New York, about whether people were overly critical of Meghan for that private visit to New York and not. But actually, talking to the Moroccan royal family, just for a moment more, I mean, there's been some reporting in the British press about the disappearance of the King's wife, and we simply just don't know what's happened to the Princess.
Which is a huge mystery. I mean, I know there was a sighting, a sort of alleged sighting of her in New York a few months ago. But
some newspapers have been running that she's in Greece. And, it's like,
but it's something that here no one would dare to write.
Yes.
It just isn't talked about.
Yeah. Which is, I think, also the danger for even a political visit. I used to do many prime ministerial visits, and particularly when they went to the Middle East, they were suddenly like, well, why are you talking about trade when actually there's all these human rights issues to talk about? So I think whenever you get such a high-profile diplomatic trip such as this one, British press, which is free to criticise or praise, whatever, they will ask those questions, and those questions were asked of the ambassador, who very diplomatically says, I don't know anything about that. Over to you. Actually, let's talk about the ambassador for a second, because I've never met a British ambassador who's been quite as unique as this one.
Mr. Riley.
Do you want to tell us about the socks and the suits and the shirts? I mean, Mr. Riley's been almost as charismatic as Harry and Meghan.
Keeping us abreast of his clothing choices at every stage of this tour.
I'll find his Twitter and his Instagram to get you the right...
I mean, look, I think we're used to countries getting excited before royal visits, but the build-up from Mr. Riley was quite something else. But sort of in the spirit of things, I think it got all of us quite excited to meet him, but also to have a friendly face around. Sometimes it's hard to have access and information on trips like this. He's made himself very available, and he's been with them the whole time.
Everywhere they've been.
Diplomats are quite, let's be undiplomatic about this, are quite stuffy. And he's nothing of the sort, is he? He's been very nice. And actually, so if you go onto his Instagram, which is Riley TSA, so REILLY.
He's looking for followers, actually.
Well, he's
we can help
at
them.
least 800 more since we started this tour. Because remember, he said to us at the press briefing he wanted over 1,000.
He's beaten
I'm looking at
already.
1,755. Anyway, if you go on there, that's where you'll see all this stuff about what socks should I wear. Obviously, we've got Union Jacks on them. What suits should I wear? The socks were even in the bed at one point. I mean,
the socks were tired.
I mean, there's certainly behaviour that I haven't seen from an ambassador before.
No, but I think, we have to look. His whole family's been involved in this trip. His daughters greeted Harry and Meghan last evening at the reception at the ambassador's residence. His wife has also met the couple as well. So I can see why he was excited.
And his daughters met Harry and Meghan when they arrived last night, and they'd picked them some posies and flowers from the garden. So it's been a real family affair.
Now, we covered the cooking event this morning. There was a couple of interesting points in there, well, maybe three. There was the pigeon pie. There was Harry actually actively pushing away the media. We should point out here the local Moroccan media, not any of us from the UK media. And there was the question over whether or not Harry had actually been and eaten in this chap's restaurant before. Take them each of them in turn. Pigeon pie, people seem to be quite surprised about. It sounds like something out of Henry VIII's time, but over here it's a
real delicacy, isn't it?
Pigeon's delicious. I will say that. Wood pigeon. Give it a try.
Meghan liked it. And actually, there was one point when they were trying some pancakes that it came out of the Together cookbook.
Yeah.
And they made the pancakes, and Harry actually was asked what he thought about them, and he still came out for the pancake. I think I heard him say delicious, but it might have been more like delicious.
He took this enormous bite, and
wiping the crumbs.
And Megan said to him, "Big bite," and he was like, "Too late now."
And actually, we'll probably have lots of articles about did he break royal protocol by talking with his mouth. How many of these, nightmare royal protocol breaking stories do we have all the time? I think eating with your mouth full, there's no protocol around that.
Listen, I think that's compliments to the chef that he took such a big bite.
We tried them actually; they were absolutely delicious, really delicious. Yeah.
And I thought, interestingly, to explain what happened again, that there is a little bit of footage of this. Is that Harry saw a member of the Moroccan media sort of bash his camera into one of the little kids' heads, and went over, shooed him away, said "get back," and then went to check that the kid was all right. And actually, looking at the response on social media when I tweeted that earlier, there was a lot of people saying, "Well, good on him for doing."
Yeah, it's a side of Harry we see quite a lot on engagements. He always makes sure that kids get to the front, that they're not sort of blocked by adults or press or anything like that. And at the end of the day, they are there to meet the people, and the people who have come there and are sort of ready. Probably spent, like Mr. Riley, spent weeks getting excited about it. So it's giving everyone that moment.
Yeah, it showed him being quite sort of protective of
the children.
The children there. So some of them came from orphanages. Some of them had parents who, the word they used was abandoned. I don't think we'd use that word, but they came from children's homes. And I think he was very protective over that child.
Fatherly instincts.
Well,
kicking in.
And there was a conversation, wasn't there, at the end when they said, "Well, why don't you come back?" And the chef said, "I'll cook for the whole family." Yeah,
well, and Meghan actually said the whole family next time, sort of gesturing at her baby bump, which of course it will be by the time they come back because we're not that far away.
And Chef Moha is basically what is TV's master chef, so the equivalent of a pretty famous chef in the UK. And he was telling us that Harry's actually been to his restaurant before in Marrakesh in 2017.
Yeah, Dar Moha, he said he'd been before, and he said he'd visited, and he was a real fan of pastilla and kefta.
And pastilla is the pigeon pie, isn't it?
So 2017 must have been a private visit, although...
Yeah, there were local reports in a Moroccan paper said that he visited on, I think it was February the 1st, 2017.
Yes.
And it was quite descriptive. It described him, I think, going around the market or the souk after his dinner. Kensington Palace.
Yeah, as we sit here right now, and this might be resolved by the time we get this up on air, but Kensington Palace is saying, sorry, but he didn't go to Morocco. So we don't quite know where we're going with this one. That is the story. Was Harry in Morocco or wasn't he? So
yes.
I think on balance, and the people we've spoken to today, that he probably was, but it was a private thing.
He's clearly met the chef before.
Yes. And he cooks very well. So the meeting with the King tonight, there's a it is a different type of royal family out here, isn't it? We asked if we could go and do the equivalent to film outside Buckingham Palace to do a piece of camera out there, and we said that would be quite a fast ticket to the local Moroccan jail. To do
so we decided not to do that.
We didn't do that. But let's get back to the travelling that Meghan's done. So, helicopter up to the mountains, plane out here, a commercial flight out here that was actually late.
Massively delayed.
Which is, I suppose, the problem that we all experience when you go commercially, as opposed to flying back privately, as she did from where?
Well, exactly. Amal Clooney
provided
the travel back from New York.
So we're on Baby Shower now in New York. And as I said at the very top of this, you broke the story. So do you want to just sort of talk us through... And there's been a lot of debate online about are people being unkind to her, it's a private visit, leave her alone, baby shower's an American thing, her friends paid for it, just back off.
Yeah.
So why don't you give us your view about the whole New York baby shower?
Yeah, well, this is a trip that had been long in the works. Meghan, an American woman, obviously wanted a baby shower before the birth of baby Sussex. It's an American tradition, a rite of passage for any mum-to-be.
And it's the friends that put it on.
And it's the friends that put it on, and they were very keen that was always going to be the case. And this was a trip that was made to meet friends that are based in North America, be it Canada or the US, and for a lot of friends from those places to eventually, at the end of the trip, have a baby shower. But I think, what was impressive about the trip was that Meghan spent 3 days totally unnoticed in New York City, cleverly not staying in a ritzy hotel that was going to sort of be under siege from all the paps, but staying at her close pal Misha Nonu's house in Greenwich Village for 3 nights. And so during that time she was able to go out and meet friends, go for ice cream and macarons and a little bit of shopping for baby clothes. It was...
and at that point you knew about it? You knew that she was there?
I knew about it. My I guess approach to anything like this is I always like to wait until a person has enjoyed their trip and then run my story. And so that's how I came to it.
Right.
I think what I wasn't expecting was, of course, for the whole world to eventually find out that the baby shower was taking place at the Mark Hotel. Yeah. And I think that's a combination of things. One, it's impossible to keep a secret in New York City. It's a busy place. She was spotted
Cameras
around.
everywhere.
Exactly. And of course, any commotion at a big hotel, you're going to get at least one paparazzi coming to sort of have a look and
when
see
there's one,
what
there's
happened.
then
and that's
all
what
of
happened. A photographer from one of the big agencies had gone to the hotel, seen flowers arriving first thing in the morning, posted the pictures onto the agency website, sort of speculating that was where Meghan was going to have the baby shower.
Yeah.
The brickwork in the background gave the location away as the Mark Hotel, and suddenly every TV crew, paparazzi, journalists were all...
To the extent they had to set up a media pen outside the hotel to get the comings and goings, and they didn't go in the back door.
No.
Or did they? Or the side entrance or the workman's entrance. They basically took the harp and the flowers and the presents and the
straight through the main doors.
Exclusive shopping bags, shall we call them, all straight through the front door.
Well, there isn't really a proper back door to the hotel. The back of the hotel really is backing onto another building that goes to another street. So yes, there is a sort of rickety old trades entrance, but nothing that celebrities use. And it's a hotel that often has VIPs in. They sneak them in and out very easily.
And sneaking in and out, or not sneaking in and out, Serena Williams, Amal Clooney, Misha Nunu,
Abigail Spencer, Marcus Anderson was seen with her.
Or a former actress on Suits. Jessica Mulroney, her great friend.
Friends.
And some of her uni friends from Northwestern as well. So it was friends from the past, present, friends that have really stuck by her. It goes without saying that within that group would have been some of the friends that recently spoke up for Meghan against some of the negative coverage in a US magazine. So
these are the 5 friends who spoke anonymously in People magazine to say, actually, can you just back off Meghan? She's which we think, we don't know, but we think was sanctioned by the Duchess herself.
Apparently so.
Yes.
But it's also it was a nice opportunity for Meghan to go and see the friends that now she lives a very long way away from, and I think and before she has a baby and probably can't travel as much.
She's given up her career. She's given up her what was her host country, Canada. She's given up her home country, the US, to move to London to be with Harry. Who are we to criticise her for wanting to spend some time with her friends?
Exactly. I think a lot of the focus went on the cost of the event, and I think it probably didn't help visually that the event took place in what is famously known as the most expensive penthouse suite in the US,
which is not got a very cheap nightly rate, has it?
£60,000, $75,000, so not cheap per night.
Right, and a lot of criticism around that. We know that the Meghan didn't spend the money. Serena Williams hired that or got a good rate in it. Whatever. No British taxpayers' money was spent on all this extravagance.
No.
The issue really comes round to whether or not someone who is now a member of the royal family should be doing it at all. And there are various views on this. Was she right to flaunt it or show that extravagance so publicly? And I think it just comes down to a slightly different way to the way in which the Americans view wealth and success to the way in which the Brits view wealth and success, particularly through the eyes of the royal family.
Well, it's not taboo to talk about it. It's not taboo to celebrate
success
or celebrate sort of very openly. What I would say is that this level of opulence or extravagance exists behind closed doors for most members of the royal family.
Yeah.
Yes, the Queen is famously thrifty, but I think when you look at other members of the royal family, it's really no difference. You know, these are people that come.
When you say
from
the Queen is thrifty, they've got that 2-bar electric fan that you often see in some of the shots when she's having audiences.
Well, they call her the Tupperware Queen.
Yeah.
Yes.
But,
but also, but actually, I suppose that comes back to when it is, should we say, flaunted. Like, for example, the mistake, if we can call it that, to put a gold piano behind the Queen during her Christmas broadcast this year. That's when the criticism comes in, and that became a bit of an issue around the Christmas broadcast.
Yeah, particularly around times when people are having to, cut backs and, that kind of extravagance. I think people, whoever paid for it, found that's why they came under fire, and there was criticism. I think.
And then the story was in all the papers, and everyone was debating it online. And I was actually on annual leave, but getting involved in debates about whether or not it was right to do it. As far as we can tell, the only expense that there would have been for the British taxpayer would have been the police protection officers who clearly had to go with her as a member of the royal family.
Very few of them, because the US State Department provided most of the security for the trip, and for the final 2 days at the Mark Hotel, NYPD came in, because of course Meghan is a US citizen, so the US taxpayer picks up the security tab for those. Just like any other kind of big event or big celebrity staying at a hotel, extra police or security needs to sort of be located to that.
And
so I think the other criticism was the sort of celebrity feel it had to it, which of course she was. That was the kind of life she used to live, but rather than a royal feel. And now she's a member of the royal family.
A difficult bridge that she's
for her.
having to cross at the moment. Is she in the former celebrity life that she had before, or is she now in the royal life that she currently has? Where is she?
Let me ask something a little controversial. What is, we had Meghan, who very publicly had this baby shower at a hotel, friends coming in and out, the world's press there to see. That was a huge moment, first time mum, it's only going to happen once. What's the difference between that and then the world's press descending on the hospital after the baby's born to get glamorous photos of a made-up new mum with her baby? Just as how much taxpayer money goes on funding security for something like that.
And what's the difference between what Meghan did in New York and the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge? William and Kate went skiing with their children, and no doubt took some police protection officers with them to wherever, whichever mountain range they went to during the half-term holiday. Is there any difference there?
None at all. It's you need security to move around, and whether Meghan had a big or a small baby shower, she would have gone out to the US with as many protection officers as she did, which was very little. I think it just goes back to a lot of the commentary around Meghan. I guess because a lot of people are still undecided on her. They're still, as we spoke about earlier, people are still getting to know her.
She's new,
and
different.
So I think that this feeds into perhaps some of the things that people like to criticise Meghan for her Hollywood background.
And perhaps that's why the flight with Amal Clooney was criticised as well. Tell us about that, because that was a private jet.
A private jet.
But not Meghan.
The Clooneys. But Amal, who flew back from New York to the UK with the twins, was making that flight anyway. She invited Meghan on board. But again, I think people have attached this price tag and run with it.
Not only a price tag, but also they've attached a sort of carbon footprint of travelling in a private jet. But I mean, presumably, whatever you think of private jets, that was making that journey in any case with Amal Clooney and her children, and Meghan was an extra passenger.
Exactly. So, if anything, it's smarter use of that. It lowers the carbon footprint, having an extra person on board. The Clooneys fly in and out of the US on a near weekly basis. That's George's private jet. He has a lease on it. So it would have been going there anyway. I could probably also list 100 other times that Harry, William, Kate and other members of the royal family have used friends' private jets to get to exotic locations.
At least it ran on time, unlike
We're done with that at the start of the tour.
Which actually brings me neatly back to here. And also the point that you mentioned about a US citizen, she gets that security. I mean, there were a few of us wondering whether or not there was some sort of US element to the security up in the Atlas Mountains yesterday. We won't give anything away because we can't, and nor should we. But actually, it made us wonder whether or not, as a US citizen, Meghan does get, when she's abroad, some assistance from the US with security. I put that out there for debate. I'm not saying it is happening.
Well, this is referring to I think it was in December or January, there was a report that a beheading had taken place sort of 10 miles from where we were.
That's right, 10 miles from the location yesterday. There was a terrorist incident from Sweden.
Sweden or Norway.
Yeah. And therefore, a US citizen going up into the Atlas Mountains, as Meghan did on Sunday, it was not without risk.
It would have been a cause of concern to national security in the US. It would have been a conversation that took place, and I'm sure some of that security that we saw there yesterday would have been a reflection of that.
Yeah. So after the At the Mountain trip, and we've spoken about that, there was a reception yesterday evening at the British Ambassador's house.
Yep.
I remember Meghan wearing a white gown. You might want to tell me who designed it. Actually, both of you can probably inform me.
She was in Dior last night.
But also, she was wearing
Dior.
There we go. But you were also struck by what she was saying. She brought the sort of the evening reception back to one of her issues that she likes to promote.
So the reception last night that took place at the British Ambassador's residence, she was meeting kind of influential Moroccan women, young entrepreneurs, athletes, and she was overheard having a conversation with a group where she said women have to challenge everywhere in the world. So this is all very much, Meghan female empowerment and women kind of pushing forward in society. So
exactly, and comes just a week after Beyonce gave her full backing.
She did. Beyonce and Jay-Z, didn't they? Yep.
So at the beginning of our conversation here, before we actually started recording, I sort of put out some Twitter messages, and there's quite a few come in. I think we've answered some of these already. There was a sort of why Morocco, why now? I mean, we know that Morocco was arranged last minute, but as you were saying, yes, it was last minute, but it's very much about Meghan's send-off tour, if you like, or baby shower tour.
Sort of a reminder of her star power.
There were some other questions here about can the Sussexes continue to represent the Commonwealth countries? They've got South Africa in mind. I wouldn't put it beyond them doing much more Commonwealth travel. Obviously, they did 4 countries back in the autumn, but plenty of Commonwealth countries to tick off.
Yeah, and Commonwealth is obviously incredibly important to both of them. So,
do you think she'll take the baby with her when they go travelling? There's a question.
I could see a fall tour of some kind, or a full trip with baby Sussex.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, actually, look what happened when William and Kate took George to Canada. They were stars of the show there, weren't they?
The interest will just. I mean,
the Republican Slayer.
Yes,
that's
he
right.
was.
And I can imagine the interest. There's a lot of interest in Meghan in any case, but can you imagine the interest when Meghan and Harry go travelling with baby Sussex?
No, it would be huge.
It's going to be pretty big. Yeah. And actually, because even on this trip, there were what were the numbers? 52 members of the UK press?
52 of the UK press and 44 international, including Moroccan media. So that's a big press pack.
Yeah.
But they create that kind of buzz about them at the moment. They're still
exactly. I think a lot of people thought that the wedding, the interest may wane a little bit afterwards, but it's actually been completely consistent.
Yeah, and this one, for Australia, that was a very long way for a lot of media to go, particularly if they're freelance, whereas Morocco is slightly closer and easier and cheaper to get to. So the press pack has been very big.
We should also talk about the horse event, because actually Alistair Stewart, one of our colleagues, one of our presenters, has said actually how did she look on the engagement this morning. Now I wasn't there, so
we were cooking, so not literally.
We were cooking. Well, actually, technically,
we were eating.
I enjoyed every mouthful that I had there. But you were at the
it was
event for the equestrian event.
It was an early start, and I will say that both of them were a little bleary-eyed when they arrived. Understandably, I think Meghan, I don't know if pushing it's the right word, but she's certainly using every ounce of her energy on trips like these. I think Harry a couple of times asked her if she was okay, because obviously the terrain that we're walking on was quite wobbly, and she had heels on, and maybe not the most practical choice of footwear. But
some of the footage we saw, I thought she looked a little more reserved. He's definitely much more comfortable, kind of in.
Well, listen, if you work in showbiz, which she did for many years, they say you should never work with animals or children. She's fine with the kids. I think they've got that down pat. Yes. But animals, horses, maybe not so much.
Yeah, he definitely took the lead.
Unpredictability.
And actually, there are plenty of people in the royal family already who quite like horses. There's Princess Anne, there's the Queen. So, and I think the horses is a box ticked as far as the royal family goes. There was one question that came in here. I just saw I don't know who it came from. Liam Edwards. What's been the best part of the trip so far of this?
Oh,
So
I love being in the Atlas Mountains. They were absolutely stunning, and I thought the engagements were, you know, really interesting and very kind of.
Pretty big tours. Your best bit of the tour?
I always say travelling with the Royals is like you kind of see the best and it's like the best way and the worst way to see a country, because you're taken to places like the Atlas Mountains, which tourism wouldn't normally take you to, but then you also spend a lot of time whizzing past things that you would quite like to see. So yeah, for me it was definitely just sort of seeing more of Morocco. It was, I think, a great spotlight on a country that is clearly promoting itself.
Your first time here?
Second.
Yeah. My first time here.
Third time here.
Third time. Okay. So I'm the sort of Morocco virgin, as it were. So, but I've been very impressed. Actually, I love the cooking event because actually I've now done the Together cookbook when they launched it in the gardens of Kensington Palace. I did it when they went to the Al Manar Mosque as well, and I did that cooking event this morning. I think I'm going to continue this theme, keep doing all the cooking events
because you know that we'll get to eat it all afterwards.
There's a slightly selfish reason in there for us. So, do you think we're going to see? When do you think Meghan's maternity is going to start?
I think she'll...
No more foreign travel, surely.
No, this is it. Kensington Palace have said that. This is the last time that she'll be flying. And that's why, again, New York was planned when it was, and it had been. I think we'll see a couple more engagements with Meghan, and then that will be it. But, you know, we are down now to single-digit weeks. It's not long. I wish I knew the exact dates, but sometime in April...
Sometime in April.
I've been told mid-April, but then obviously that's just it's for any woman pregnant, it's guesswork, isn't it? At the best of times.
Well, Meghan herself said in Birkenhead that she had friends that had given birth up to 5 weeks early, so I hope she wasn't prepping us.
Actually, there's a chance that some royal correspondents could be in Cuba with Prince Charles. That visit was confirmed, I think, since we've last recorded this edition here. Historic for a number of reasons.
Absolutely.
British Prime Minister's never been, certainly a member of the royal family has never been before. Cuba's going to be quite fascinating.
Yes.
Amazing. And great visuals.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And I think in a fascinating country for a number of reasons. And even even the military plane that will take Prince Charles out there will be the first time a British military plane has ever landed in Cuba. So there's plenty of reasons for that. So Cuba, Morocco. We don't know of any other trips coming up, do we, at the moment?
Not for now. Although I can see William and Kate taking us somewhere.
They've got a European one coming up, actually.
Taking us somewhere nice later in the year.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I meant there's a big issue for the royal family about whether or not they, as a family, being apolitical, whether they mark Brexit or they don't mark Brexit, if indeed it happens on March the 29th.
Yes.
Big decision. Questions
Question
for
marks,
us.
Yes.
Questions for people
wish I had the answer.
around the Queen. Listen, it's been fascinating to have you. Thank you very much for spending the time on the 14th floor, as we were reminded by our colleagues who were just sitting over there. And thank you for watching this other edition, the second time we brought this programme on the road. We've had a great time in Morocco. Thank you for continuing to watch the Royal Rota, and next time we'll probably be back in the studio, but I'm sure there'll still be plenty to discuss.